Hey, how's it going? The following is a Spoilercast on Final Fantasy 15, in which all aspects of the game will be covered. If you wish to keep your experience pure, please give it a listen after you finish the main campaign. Enjoy!
I missed the opportunity for a joke.
Okay, I'll take the way it is. Hey viewers, we took a break for a second, but Austin has a really funny joke!
Okay, so I was going to say earlier in the podcast, but I missed my opportunity, that all the scenes where Luna's healing people reminds me a lot of Superman and Batman vs. Superman.
Funny joke! She does basically have a Jesus role, where she's, the healer prophet that goes around healing people.
That's not a huge plus either.
No, it's not. If you're fucking reminding me of Batman vs. Superman, maybe you need to... Episode Luna, it's going to be just her floating down from the heavens and people being like, Luna!
She accidentally destroys a city,
Yeah. And then her dad tells you, sometimes you can't save everybody.
Sometimes
she
you
snaps
just let
sometimes
people
the
die.
kids in the bus have to die.
Yeah.
Okay, let's also do a quick countdown real quick. I'm going down from 5 now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so in Comrades, it's spoilers for the end of that thing, but you're actually one of the people with Libertas that betrayed the city, and you're trying to make up for it.
I love that, even though it's just flavor text.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's neat. So
the fact that you the ending cutscenes where you run into Noctis and you're basically you're beat down to shit.
Yeah.
And atoning for your fucking sins against King God Noctis. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of a retcon, but it's pretty neat.
Yeah. So I'm now they're adding an expansion to Comrades, which I did enjoy. What could that be?
Well, there's a lot of content that's straight up locked out of Comrades right now. A lot of the they're not factions. I keep forgetting what they're called, but the idols or icons or whatever. A lot of those things right now are just completely locked off. A huge percentage of them.
Yeah.
The Nordiskaean garrison environment is completely locked out right now, although it is mentioned in the game as somewhere you're able to go to. There's a lot of stuff that is known to be content, such as the ability to play as the four boys. This is something that was confirmed a long time ago, and it's just
and the fifth boy, Gordon Freeman.
Yeah, right. But no, there's a lot of stuff that is known shit that they are finally going to implement in the next patch for Comrades.
I love that they are adding things to this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Multiplayer expansion.
It's pretty elaborate, honestly.
It is. I'm gonna hot take real quick. I thought the combat in Comrades was better than the combat in Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, me too. It's a big improvement. I don't know. It's they had a chance to make an entire game and then fix things. Well, I
remember one interview said that they wanted to add that character as an extra ally in the main game.
Oh, no kidding. That would have been fun.
Yeah. So you can switch to another style if you want to.
Yeah, because you get in Comrades there's 6 different weapon types as well. So you don't just get stuff that's similar to the main game. You get all new types of weapons as well, like a hyper slow mace,
a giant shuriken.
The shuriken's in the main game, but it's an expanded moveset. There's a lot of cool stuff. There's a casting system that's more sensible. I think the magic system, which is something we've kind of glossed over at FF15, is
completely
misguided. Because it's neat when you actually try to upgrade your spells. You can kind of see that there's neat ideas going on where you can customize your spells in really nuanced ways, get them to give you extra experience or have various special effects. Yeah, exactly.
Multicast.
But you end up you do so much time, you spend so much time crafting your spells, and you craft them one by one. You never feel like you want to use them.
Especially when they used to do friendly fire.
Yeah, that was tough to deal with. So I think it's a cool system, but ultimately misguided. And also your resources for the I almost said grenades because they're treated like grenades in a shooter. The resources for your magic are simultaneously scarce, but they cap out way too often. So you're constantly in situations where you just have to go reduce the amount you have, even though you don't give a shit about making a spell.
Yeah, I wish you could stock 999 instead.
Yeah, why not? So I don't know. The magic systems, it's not great. I think most people don't really like it. I don't hate it.
I know a lot of people that didn't bother using it. They just
Yeah.
combat.
After playing with it in Comrades, though, I can't help but be like, wow.
No,
because
Comrades totally does its own thing with it. Yeah.
Granted, if you pick one of the elements and didn't just pick like the force push that you start with.
Yeah,
The
which
force
I
push
did.
sucks.
Well, the thing is that the spells in Comrades are tied to whatever weapon you're using.
Yeah.
So you can like we kind of just like didn't talk about gameplay in Comrades too much yet, but the crafting system in that game is stupid.
Like it's busted.
Because
yeah.
Well, especially if you don't know what you're doing, you waste
busted.
a lot of resources saying, I'm just going to dump this into this. I don't know what this does. Like the game,
and then
the game shows
the
you
game
like,
doesn't.
Like you need this stat in order to get to this thing, but it doesn't explain well.
And the game doesn't tell you that if you need to like stack the specific stat in order to make this weapon evolve into another weapon.
Yeah, and that you need to save up for the really good materials because if you just keep using cheap ones, you won't reach the goals.
Yep.
Yeah, no, you're definitely in for a rough encounter the first time you try to upgrade a weapon to max, but once you make that mistake once, you never do it again. It's a fun multiplayer mode. I played a relatively significant amount, but I kind of held off grinding for the trophies until the next like expansion to it comes out.
I kind of powered through it, so it took me like 12 hours.
It's fun. It's got like a nice little story conclusion. The gameplay loop is 100% hunting game. So if you're familiar with Monster Hunter or God Eater or the like, it's that. You're in the town, you pick a mission or a hunt to go on against these monsters. You go out to a camp and you match make with up to 3 other people or AI. It'll put an AI if need be.
Sometimes Kenny,
who will always be 10 levels higher than you are.
It's true.
He's fucking
Sometimes the AI will not load in and you'll sit at the camp forever.
Sometimes this happens. Rarely, but sometimes this happens. I think
on launch
they
week
fixed
it was
that,
ridiculous.
Yeah, there were issues at launch.
which ability do you pick? I always pick Cheer because it's funny watching the animation for it.
Yeah, I love Cheer.
I was a healer.
No, I always went for Cheer as well. And then you hunt and then you go back, and it's a tried and true fun gameplay loop, right?
I think.
Did you guys play together?
No.
I played solo. Like the AI is competent enough that you can solo everything.
So I played the entire game co-op.
Nice.
I think it's funny that we were talking about the Final Fantasy 15 multiplayer expansion, yet none of us played in any combination with the other.
The one mission that was really annoying that I had humans help out with, but they kept dying over and over, was you fight the ghost painting thing that changes form.
Yeah, that one's the toughest one.
Yeah, because people who don't know what they're doing, they'll just run straight into the bad breath thing, and then I need help.
Oh shit, you don't know about multiplayer Bahamut then?
Okay, tell me about multiplayer Bahamut.
Oh, okay. So the Bahamut that you fight at the end of Comrades,
it's the last boss.
It is the last boss, and this version of Bahamut he's guarding Noctis. Like all the summons are guarding Noctis on the island of, I don't remember the name.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name of the island.
Okay.
Yeah. And you go to him and you fight him, and he's pretty hard. You have to fight him with Libertas or whatever, a couple of spares from King's Glaive. And but the multiplayer version of him, when you beat him in single player, you unlock his fight for multiplayer.
Yeah, where he's like level 70 or something jacked.
He has another form.
What? I didn't know that. I actually never went back to do it because the level was so high. I said I'd wait for the expansion. But
if you guys would like to try it with me after this podcast, if you want to have a good fucking laugh,
no,
it would
not
be a good
tonight,
time.
But fuck.
Yeah, no. His second form is like literally he just goes like Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, and his attacks are like just complete horseshit. I tried it with my Discord a bunch, and we could only get him to like 54%.
Damn, son. And you guys were way under leveled, I imagine, too, because you just...
Yeah.
You can't...
We tried our best, dude. Yeah. We tried our best. People have beat him, but it's like that fight is hilarious because it turns into just like, hey, I hope it like... I would say it's probably harder than Noctis, but because it's multiplayer, there's the chance that you can... just tag along.
Do you think it's harder than Noctis just because the numbers are so high right now? Like without being caught up level wise?
It plays a lot like an MMO boss fight where you have to memorize a lot of patterns, and he does have some like literal screen clearing moves where like you have to be hooked on a ledge where you're dead. basically.
So it's almost like a Final Fantasy 14 raid boss.
Yeah, it's definitely good. And that is the kind of content I want to see more of in Comrades. It's just like horseshit, stupid multiplayer boss fights. That's what I wanted when they announced the fucking multiplayer expansion.
Yeah.
And Comrades is almost something that, like, I almost considered it for a Game of the Year contender based off the time that I had last year. Not like a number 1, but a top 10, you know?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I played 20 hours of it, so I feel you. Yeah.
Yeah, I played a ton of the multiplayer.
I can hear that.
It was so much fun, and like we're waiting on the expansion to go back and do us some Bahamut, which comes out soon. So, yeah,
Does
I like
the
Comrades a lot.
expansion
Actually,
come out with Royal Edition, or is it after that?
I will Google it.
Okay, yeah.
No As you're doing that,
1 second.
Do you want to hear like the big fan theory and how this actually doesn't retcon the original ending when Noctis gets off the island?
Go ahead.
Okay, so you notice when Noctis does it, he gets on the boat alone in the core game, right?
Yeah, so in the main game, he just goes solo, yeah.
Yeah. What people are saying is that by taking on Bahamut's challenge and sacrificing themselves basically to serving Noctis, they get a little bit of the Star Scourge in them, like Arden did. So that's why they don't age, just fighting constantly inside the darkness. So when Noctis gets there in the main game, what he's seeing them, but you are as a player aren't, because they're all technically dead ghosts like Arden is.
I don't quite follow, actually. You're going to have to explain this more carefully with a chart later on.
The chart with a timeline
Noctis
connecting everyone's
Noctis
relationships.
is seeing their spirits, but they're not human anymore, basically.
The expansion update comes out on the 6th.
Oh, soon. Cool.
So
That's the same time as Royal Edition, then, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't even know what level I'm at.
Square Enix is just dumping shit on us like in one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked Comrades a lot.
Definitely, me too. It's still a little janky, but I agree that the combat in general is tighter than in the main game. There's a nice progression system too, where you progress across a world map by collecting a currency that is electricity, effectively. And that's really nice, and I'm excited for that to expand, hopefully, with the first expansion that comes out.
Well, the lore implications of that are really fun too. Well, not necessarily fun, but it's like meaningful because they're trying to get the I don't remember the name of the light they use, but the one that is
you're restoring power to the land anyway, which is
to hide off the demons, even though the situation's hopeless. It's cool because everyone's banding together in preparation for King Noctis, you know?
Yeah, no, it's satisfying, definitely. Also, one of the cool things in the game, it's a little bit of a throwaway thing, but you can do a refight, or you can do a fight, I guess, against the boys. You can fight all 3 of them individually and then all together as a group.
And Ignis is fucking scary with his counterattack.
Ignis is way the strongest one. Like, it's crazy. Gladio's nothing, and Prompto's got some stuff, but Ignis can fucking blow you up. It's
when
wild.
Prompto freezes you and takes a selfie with you.
That's sick. I love that.
That is such a strong moment.
Yeah, I think so. Some of the things I really liked was the costume editing. There are quite a few costumes you can get. And you can really customize your character pretty well. The character editor is kind of nice. And
if you play as a female, though, and you make your character too tall, your shoulders are kind of too close together, so your arms clip through your body constantly.
Yeah, I got that. It's unfortunate.
Do we all make tall females? What the fuck?
Well, you know my fetish is. There's no other excuse for me.
Is there another type of character to make, really? Like,
no, that's the only King's Glaive person.
Yeah, no. So
guys, Final Fantasy 15 is pretty all right, isn't it?
It's pretty all right. It's weird. It's like a summation of busted shit with a certain amount of money poured over the top, and it just kind of works. But like, it really
it's like supreme jank.
It is. No, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, but the reason I was naming. Oh, sorry.
I think there are aspects of the game that are downright bad, but like it somehow all comes together.
In a very, very expensive, huge package that requires different mediums to watch it. So I think Comrades builds upon one of the main themes of the game, which is everyone coming together for one big goal.
Camaraderie.
Camaraderie. And I wish that was expanded more in the main game, like we said earlier with the NPCs. Like at the end of Comrades, I felt really happy because you saw all these characters get together. They all want to just bring Noctis back.
Yeah, so you're like, I did this thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So Dino's helping out Viv. Everyone's doing their part, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
When I beat Final Fantasy 15 for the first time, I maybe went into slight fanboy mode, but I was like, oh yeah, Final Fantasy 15 is very clearly episode Noctis, so you only see things from his point of view. Which sounds really dumb, but it seems like that's kind of what they did.
Mm-hmm. If we want to talk about him as a character, I really like Noctis as a character a lot. Because,
I liked him a lot too.
It comes from, if you grew up in an Asian family, you're constantly just given expectations of, oh, you gotta be a doctor, you gotta be a lawyer, you gotta do this, you gotta get good grades. Why are your grades B? You gotta play the piano, and you gotta scholarships. And Noctis,
gotta eat your beans.
If I grew up playing this game at like age 15, I would have just fallen even more in love, because he totally just resembles like all these expectations placed on you that you never really wanted, and you just gotta go with them. But at the same time, you're also realizing you have friends along the way that are trying to help you get there, and you know, just be responsible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this game is the Yukiko Amagi of games.
Because I got a similar mood with Zelda in Breath of the Wild, because her dad was, why aren't you studying, and instead you're doing this stuff to stop the Dark Lord, and
Yeah, well, and I guess if I can just double down on Yukiko, like, I always found it odd that everyone hated Yukiko, when it's like, no, she has a very relatable conflict. Like, she doesn't really want to take over her parents' duties, but she kind of is being forced to a little bit.
Well, to be fair, she's in the same game as Naoto and Chie, so,
Yeah, no,
it's also potential that people were like, hey, this is too real.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know. Like, I've heard so many people, so many friends of mine where they're just like, "Oh, her thing was shitty. I didn't get it. Like, just don't do it." And it's like, what do you mean?
Her social link was fine.
Just don't do it. Like that's a hard thing to say to your parents. That's a really hard thing to do. Like, especially as a teenager with that kind of pressure.
You don't like. It's kind of like the people that say, "Oh, why don't you move out of this area with lots of hurricanes and floods?" But it's not that easy. You can't just
it's potential.
Leave.
It's almost like us Westerners are spoiled brats. In a lot of aspects.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. But I really like that part about Noctis' story, and he does man up.
Yeah, it takes a while, but he does. And it does happen, and everyone yells at him. Like,
yeah, you get a lot of that in like Brotherhood too, because he's a grown man at that point, and he's having that little like shitty bitch fit with Ignis, but internally he wants to be better. He tries cooking, he tries all these things, but
it's not easy.
Did you? I'm sorry. I like my thing cut out for a second. Did you just reference the episode of Brotherhood with Ignis?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a super strong moment. Sorry.
No,
I mean we all been there where we had that long argument with your parents. They bring you downstairs and then they yell at you for 30 minutes on why you're getting your life together, and it's close.
Yeah.
Well, for me at least. You guys are perfect.
Only a little.
Okay, so now we're finally at chapter 14. Time skip happens. I really like the World of Darkness. I like the hands coming out of the walls and just demons everywhere. Golden Key's fucking blown up.
Yeah, World of Darkness, for anyone who's unfamiliar, is it's the state of the world after Noctis left.
Pretty much every Final Fantasy game. That's a thing that happens in every single one.
There's monsters everywhere. There's no nice places to be except, I guess, Lestalem, but even then it's not that nice.
Did they call it World of Darkness, or
I'm just calling it that because that's what they call it in every other,
I'm pretty sure it was called World of something. World of
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because if it was World of Ruin, that's a direct reference to Final Fantasy VI.
It is in fact It is in fact World of Ruin. I don't know why.
That's what I thought.
World of Darkness, but that's okay.
That's why I wrote name it. Sorry.
No worries.
No, it's fine. Straight up Final Fantasy VI vibes here.
Yeah.
Well, wait, should I spoil Final Fantasy? Whatever.
Too late.
Too late.
The game is like 20 years old at this point? More than that.
Oh, it's like 26. No. Yeah, and I thought that was amazing. I did not expect it. You watch the opening cinematic of the game, and you're like, well, clearly at some point Noctis is going to have a beard and Pronto's going to have a shitty goatee, but what are the circumstances for it? And it's
Ignis
boom.
has cool glasses.
Yeah, not blind, just glasses. No, time skip, man. Fucking anime shonen time skip. Mm-hmm. It was good.
Time skips are strong. They're hard to write good, but I think they did a good job with this one.
I went into that scene with the Chocobo Festival outfit because I had it on during the chapter beforehand. They had a ruined version of it, and it was just the silliest thing.
Oh, no kidding.
They have ruined versions of all the outfits when you go into that section, so they're all filthy.
Oh, the mariachi.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That is a lot of effort that they did not need to put in.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it technically it already kind of exists for all of them because you know as your characters they have dirty versions if you don't.
It's just the dirty version, I guess.
Yeah.
Then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But is it ripped up or?
I think it's just the dirty version.
Okay. Noctis got real skinny in that time skip.
He also got a completely different facial structure.
Yeah, somehow I guess he lost his baby face. It's weird.
Well, he could go in a race here, but he kind of went from typical shonen anime face to white guy, or more like his dad actually.
Yeah,
a little bit.
It's true though. I thought the scene was effective when Noctis is trying to fight by himself on the shores of Golden Key. You have the Marboros trying to stab you and stuff, and they kick your ass unless you're overpowered like you. And then you run into Talcott. Hello.
And you get saved. It's cool.
Yeah, I think that was a good moment too because you look at how much it literally shows you the distance you have to walk, which is like 5 miles. And it's like I'm not going to be able to walk that.
Yeah, no, not with these enemies around. No, it was cool.
And there's so many enemies too.
And then it kind of culminates in the campfire scene where you're reunited with your buddies and it's kind of somber. Like everyone kind of feels like it's a death march. Everyone knows, hey, we're going back to Insomnia. It's not going to be a good time. We're probably going to die. And they kind of express the last things they want to express to each other, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's a really effective scene. Again, it's quite somber. And then you go to bed. And then you go to Insomnia, which I guess I'd say it's like a mini dungeon. But it seems
it's
like
a straight line with one path to give you some extra items that you don't really need because the last boss battle is nothing.
I guess that's
some bullshit
that's
enemies.
Generous calling it a mini dungeon, but it's gonna be a dungeon soon.
It's
true. Royal Edition.
They're adding a boss too, the Cerberus that you can fight.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I'm keen to see that. Actually, that sounds like a pretty meaningful chunk of content there where they really needed something. But
I don't know if you guys saw this from the most recent patch, but someone dug around and found audio clips of older Noctis and gang in the car.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
No, it's cool. If you hack the game just to bring old Noctis to a place where you can drive the car, you can hear new dialogue, and it's like, I guess maybe we're gonna get back in the car in Royal Edition at some point.
I wouldn't be envious to be those voice actors. You just get brought back for tons of lines constantly.
Well, the other thing is maybe the lines were cut in the first place and they're never planned on coming back. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't see the regalia, do we? I
thought they were in the no, regalia is destroyed after chapter 12.
It got exploded.
So maybe it's just while they're driving to Insomnia. Maybe they added something. I don't know.
Cindy would need to build a new regalia.
That wouldn't be hard though.
Sick.
This is a car.
Yeah,
I wish that we could. I wish that we could explore the world of Ruin.
Yes,
I really wish that we could.
Me too. I feel like they mentioned that Iris is like this badass demon hunter in the world of Ruin.
Yeah,
and that grips me. I want to fucking see that. I want to play as Iris and Aranea, and they go on their sick lesbian adventure across the world of Ruin.
Oh yeah! What if that's an actual
dude? That would be the goddamn best.
I agree.
It would actually be the best. But you look like you fucking look at the Comrades DLC, and Iris is there, and she looks the same as ever. And
that DLC is directly after Noctis gets sucked
and then
in.
there's a time skip in that DLC as well. So it's possible that Iris turns into a badass demon hunter.
Oh, I see what you mean.
In the time skip.
You're saying that the town takes place immediately after Noctis goes in.
Yeah.
Because there's still daylight. It's just disappearing at that point.
Okay.
Well, we don't see Lestalem at all in the World of Ruin, do we?
No.
Not in the main game, no. But
unless you hack it. Maybe you can possibly hack it, but
in that case, I dearly hope that there's still an opportunity for that, because they said Iris was a badass demon hunter. I would really like to see that. Don't hold out on me.
Very quick aside with Iris and combat. I have some friends who, when we didn't touch on this at all, but you get to carry her around in your party for a very slight moment. Yeah. They did not know that she could fight. because they went straight to the objective and like beelined all combat and did not know that Iris had really cool moves where Gladio throws her up in the air and drop kicks enemies.
Yeah.
Where's that game?
Also,
She's
like
the
if you
fucking-
look at her in the menu, she looks at Noctis, just tries to make eye contact with him.
Yes, I really like that
Yeah.
too. It's so subtle, but it's nice, easy enough to notice, but not easy enough for Noctis to notice. So,
Baby boy.
yeah, I know, eh? No, that was a really swell touch for sure. It was cool how she'd sit up on the back of the car too and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's cute. Yeah,
Pretty sure I showed. I definitely showed Luna a picture of me and Iris at the end of the game.
Oh, speaking of I guess it's a good time to bring up the pictures. What did you pick as your picture?
Well, we're almost there. I mean,
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
So
one
then there's-
sentence away.
then there's some stuff. We're so close. We may as well do this in order.
Okay, fine. Ifrit's there.
You get to Ifrit, and there's a fight with Ifrit, and I think some people were unclear on why you were fighting Ifrit, or exactly that he betrayed the other summons and shit. But yeah, he betrayed everyone, Ifrit, and he just turned heel, which is kind of a cool thing. And that was one of the major things they expanded on in the Chapter 12 editions, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There is a lot. I highly recommend just watching it.
Because I like half of it is just to emphasize Ifrit's place in the story, I believe.
And the other half is like, okay, here's a little bit about Luna, I guess.
Yeah. So like that's cool, and then you beat Ifrit, and then you get to fight Arden, and it's like a Super Saiyan fight, where you're flying around in your armor forms, and it's like easy. It's like a victory lap fight, but it's kind of
Visually
cool.
cool as shit, though.
Yeah.
Because the final boss is definitely Ifrit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of difficulty, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Did you guys do the thing where you and Ifrit fight on the fucking space time continuum thing?
I don't think I did then. No.
There's some, like, kind of like the Aranea fight, there's some really sick animations where you can, like, Ifrit comes down and then, like, you can do a timed block and you start flying, basically, and fight Ifrit in the sky.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
awesome.
I think I was just overpowered at the point, so...
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, you beat that,
I-
and then sad shit happens. Do you want to tell us about the ending, Austin? Do you remember how that goes?
Yeah, so at the very end, Noctis is sitting down in the chair. He's accepted his responsibility. He's already defeated Arden. Kind of defeated Arden. He, like, basically scared the demon form of him away. And he's accepted his destiny, sits down on his king's throne, and then gets the Knights of the Round cast on him, essentially. As every king of past impales him. And then he somehow, I don't really know what I would classify this as, but he goes into, like, this weird alter spiritual world where him, all the kings of the past, and his friends all do a super attack on Arden, and he dies for realsies. But also Noctis is dead.
Yeah.
And then it shows us a shot of the king dead on the throne. But I never really knew how to infer this. I'm not sure if Prompto, Gladiolus, and Ignis are dead as well.
No, they're alive.
Because
they
the last
made it,
time
I
we
think.
see them, the last time we see them is them turning around from the throne, looking at monsters, and we do not see them after that.
I thought the
We don't
day...
hear their voices.
I have
after
to go
that.
rewatch the ending, but I thought the daylight was coming in and they were fine. But I don't know.
I could be mistaken. It has been a year since I watched the exact ending cutscene, but yeah, from there credits roll. It's very sudden, but it shows like the daylight rising and stuff like that, and then we get a post credit scene. The very first post credit scene is that's the one with Noctis and Lunafreya sitting on the throne happily in what I assume is heaven.
Yeah.
And that turns
And,
into like the title screen, yeah.
Yeah,
And you realize
that's
the
such a
full
cool
picture.
moment.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
cool.
It is really nice, yeah. I think the art of Noctis is a little weaker than the art of Luna on the title screen.
Yeah, I agree.
Clearly not done by the same artist, but hey.
I would hope it was done by Amano. Like, I hope they didn't fucking...
I don't know, like, it might have been, but maybe I was just so used to seeing the FF15 logo that it was just odd to see Noctis on the logo as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'd seen that one specific art for literally 11 years at that
For
point.
a generation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it just looks odd. I don't actually know whether or not it might be by Amano. I don't know, but he just looks.
I don't actually know if Amano did all the Final Fantasy title cards, but I could be mistaken.
Yeah, I think he at least did the 15 one. I think that's clear enough.
Yeah.
Because the face looks exactly like it, so.
But then I might have had my sequence of events wrong. We get probably the absolute best cutscene and voice acting in the game of Ray Chase as Noctis basically being like, hey, you guys are my friends.
Yeah.
And the facial capture animation in that scene alone invoked emotion in me, because you could see Noctis choking up, and you could hear it in the voice, and the last lines of the game are, you guys are the best. And it still gets me.
No, it's really, really good and touching. And that is right around the bit that Thomas wanted to talk about too, where you, it's really nice and thematic, actually. You get to pick a photograph to bring with you to the end. Throughout the game, Prompto takes photos of important moments that are like fixed moments, but he also randomly takes photos of all sorts of other stuff, and they actually have like a really sophisticated system set up for it. So a lot of the photos actually turn out relatively well. And you end up
janky as shit.
Yeah, some are abysmal, and sometimes Prompto shows up twice in the same photo, and that's a bug.
And sometimes
I have this one I tweeted.
Noctis.
Yeah,
I have this one I tweeted a long time ago where there's like the three dudes, and then Noctis is holding his arm out, looking really sad, and he's in the middle of a wall, like he's like clipping into the wall, and it's really good.
Generally, they're all right though. Generally, they're at least not busted, which is nice. But and yeah, you get to pick a photo to bring in with you, which is like a really cool, poignant moment, because it just like wraps up this subtle game mechanic that's been there the whole time. Oh my god, this photo you got is evil.
The person that tweeted it said, this is one of the only pictures it took with Noctis and Ignis in the same photo.
That's fucking funny.
I have some pretty strong photos from, I'll have to look at them later and share them, but yeah.
But yeah, you get to bring that with you, and it's a touching moment. So
it's weird how emotional the last like 3 hours of the game are, like compared to the rest, where we're sitting here, you know, we're all having problems with the Final Fantasy 15's conveyance and its characters, and like we want more. Like clearly they have a really amazing setup and world here, but and it still invoked an emotional response in us despite being unfinished, and it's so weird to me how that can coexist.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, the diamonds in the rough, right? All the great bits of the game really like stand head and shoulder above everything else.
Yeah.
And despite the fact that it's like a busted piece of shit the whole way through, there's like a lot of cool stuff that happens, and I agree that the ending like genuinely lands well. I think it's one of the things that most people agree just totally works.
Granted, if you haven't listened to your King Dad much, you wouldn't know who's talking to you at first.
Yeah, no, like some of the earlier story conveyance may make it more difficult to understand than it should be, but even if you're not 100% with it, it's fucking cool. And even just the stuff with Noctis and his boys and Luna is like really touching and nice and sad. So
this game definitely turns into a game that you need a Wikipedia with as well, which is weird, but you know,
it's unfortunate, but you know,
hey, Destiny 2 is one of the best selling games of last year.
Yeah.
Hey,
as far as Bungie shooters go, it is certainly the most recent. So
well put.
You know.
And that's our Final Fantasy. Oh no, wait, no, I was.
What's your final photo, bitch?
Shit.
My photo, it was a nice one with the four boys. It wasn't a goofy one. I didn't take one of Viv.
I took one of Viv.
I know you took one of Viv. You tweeted it for a week.
Yeah, a lot of people took pictures of cup noodles in some location.
Yeah.
Very first time I played, my picture was the group shot before you go to Alticia. And then after I beat the game, I wanted to see the ending again. It was a picture of Noctis and Iris.
Oh.
Because memes, you know, whatever.
Yeah, but it's fun how you kind of get to have that little smattering of personality in there, where it's like...
Did you know that Luna Freya has
Yeah.
Luna Freya has different reactions depending on what picture you show her.
Yeah, she has a couple different ones.
Yeah. I need to look at a video to see what they are, but I had no idea until recently.
They put a lot of work into the game that you wouldn't notice unless you replayed it.
It's almost like it's a really big game.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Like, even despite all the things that got cut, the game is still gargantuan. So, yeah.
Like I said, man, Final Fantasy 15, it's pretty all right.
Yeah.
It's pretty all right.
The person who asked about the photo, just putting out there, was Twitter user Zolin111.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah, this guy's cool. He's a nice dude.
Okay.
Right on.
Thank you, nice dude. All right, chapter 15 was endgame content. So I spent another like 30 hours just doing everything else, basically.
Yeah, there's a lot of side quests. Most of them are rote and they're kind of nothing. Go kill this, go get that. There is a set of like, I don't remember how many, where you can find notes, like scraps of paper from a dude, and you have to get a huge amount of them in order to progress through that side quest. That one takes fucking forever. There's the regular secret dungeons, then there's the like dungeons that you need the keys for. There's
getting all the weapons you missed if you missed any of them.
Yeah, Piteos dungeon, which is wild because you get the flying regalia, and you get to fly over the mountains and try not to crash.
Yo, landing that thing is so hard.
That was what happened. That was how I lost my save.
Oh, yeah?
I was coming back from Piteos, and I got in the regalia and immediately crashed into a mountain, and there was no autosave on the way out of Piteos.
There's a funny set of circumstances with Piteos because that dungeon's only open at night, right?
Yeah.
And you have to land the regalia on an a strip of land that you can't fucking see.
Yeah.
But they actually, with the most recent patch, added the ability to change the time of day anywhere.
Thank God.
So you can finally land the regalia normally.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've crashed that thing so many times and just tried to fuck with it.
It's brutal. You just game over, back to last save. It's fucking rough. It's not like back to last like checkpoint or whatever. It's like too much.
They died hard, dude.
They died really hard. What other end game content is there? Hunts?
The Adamantoys.
The Adamantoys, yeah.
I never beat Adamantus.
You didn't?
Just because, I didn't really. I was going to like do a stream out of it because I hear it takes like 3 hours or something like that.
45 minutes.
If you take the Power Rangers suit, even less.
Well, when I was going to do it, I had no Power Ranger suit, and I was like only like level 80 or something because I didn't know. Like, I found out about a power leveling tool where you like make a spare cast spells and then just toss them on like one enemy.
Yeah.
After the fact, but yeah, no, I never tackled Adamantus. I want to at some point because I want to get that Platty.
He's not hard. You won't die. It just takes a long time.
He's just time consuming.
Yeah. Especially at level 80, you'll be super A-okay. And if you use the Power Ranger suit, you're fucking invincible. So.
Well, now I can be level 120
because of Royal Edition.
No,
that's already in the game.
Before. They added that pretty quickly.
Oh, what? That's already in? Fuck me.
Yeah.
I think
that's been in for like half a year.
I think I'm only like level 60 or something, 60 something.
Yeah.
Really?
I didn't bother.
You did all the content at level 60?
I didn't need to go higher.
You're good.
Dude, the Power Ranger suit makes you invincible.
I know, but
you literally can't take damage for as long as the battle goes on.
Did you fight like the big titted Medusa chick that was added?
Yeah. Yeah,
that boss is hard if you don't do it.
She was really hard, and she's how you unlock the Power Ranger suit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I I have the trophy for it. I can show you.
I believe you, but damn, you're good.
No, she was hard. Like I've used a lot of items. That was tough.
I really like her slapping attack. It was really funny.
It was. It's a cool battle. Like cool.
I think
game patch edition.
Speaking of the combat, I think it gets kind of dumb at the end where you're basically just healing constantly and just making sure your party members don't die.
Yeah, the combat's really busted. You just end up spamming items, and it's not particularly interesting. The magic doesn't help in any way, shape, or form. So it's just attack and items, and use your character skills whenever they pop up.
Yeah.
And now the chain link got added back in, which is nice. So there's that kind of occasionally varies up the combat a little bit, but Otherwise,
And-
not much else.
And that's why Comrades is a good game.
Yes, that's Comrades is a big improvement in that regard. So
That like I said, I played healer, so I would just be running around like
yeah.
you would teleport heal people. It's fucking sick.
Yeah, and you get to target them and heal them. It's like it's dynamic. You're doing shit. You're
You're
not
using
just
a button that was underused in the main game.
Yeah, you don't just pick potion and then pick character and they get back up. But fuck, the amount of battles that just turn into loops of like characters getting up and dying in slow motion is absurd. Like
and Nock saying, "Didn't mean to do that."
yeah. It's bedtime.
The Prince of Pain.
There's
So many
definitely a
good
lot.
lines.
There's definitely a lot of really solid in-game content in 15.
Yeah.
I really like a lot of the the hunts that you get to do. The zoo for
Like,
one
the
is a
late
lot of fun.
stuff. Yeah.
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 Although the very first time I visited that mountain, I don't remember what it was called.
But yeah, the big mountain though. Yeah.
Yeah, none of the enemies spawned once it was like day 3 of the game being out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed at the camp on the top right before you get the egg for the cup noodle quest if you pick the mountain, and none of the enemies spawned, and I was like walking off into like unknown territory. It was weird, but when I came back and like did some of the hunts, like some of the cool
I had that
animations
problem
are
happen
super
too.
fun.
The enemies didn't spawn for me. On that
Yeah.
one,
It was weird.
That's odd. Yeah. That mountain's really cool. Like
I had to
It
climb back
is.
up twice because I couldn't find the item, so I jumped all the way back down. I had to climb all the way back.
I also had to go back up a second time.
Oh, no.
It's really cool. It's a surprisingly varied feeling environment. Like it doesn't feel like anywhere else in the game. It's basically a dungeon, just vertical. You go up
It is listed as a
down.
dungeon in the strategy guide.
Oh, is it actually? Well, there you go.
Yep, and it has the
Oh yeah, it has its own map and everything. It's true. So I guess it literally is a dungeon.
and then also the armature thing.
Yeah, the weapon you can get. Yeah, there's all the Armiger stuff you can collect Endgame too, because you're almost guaranteed to not have all of them unless you scoured the world or used a guide. So, yeah, I mean Endgame. It's mostly little stuff. There's nothing like crazy like extra.
I'd say
scenarios
map
or
filling
anything.
and boss is pretty crazy.
Wait, which sorry?
I think the Adamantoise is pretty crazy. I mean, in terms of just scale, he's just the big
Oh,
mountain
yeah.
himself for most of the game.
Yeah, like there's impressive stuff like Adamantoise and Piteos, but I mean there's nothing like Another Day in The World Ends With You where it's like an extra scenario or anything like that. It's mostly like iterative content, but there is some cool stuff hidden back there for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, but did you summon Titan against Adamantis?
I didn't do that. No.
I saw the animation, but not against Adamantoids. No.
Okay.
I know he flips him over, right?
No, he does an uppercut and fails.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's so good.
it's cool that there's a unique anim for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's the main game. We're not even close. We have like other games to discuss still.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
A lot of quality of life updates we talked about. I just want to say fuck Saban because they keep putting out lawsuits that ruin the fun for everybody.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll put the costumes here, but
Yeah, regarding this, the power armor stuff looked apparently too similar to Saban's Power Rangers, and they got
the recent film. Yeah,
they got a
Oh
cease
my
and
god.
desist for
I didn't
that.
actually know about this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me find the suits because this is what they looked like originally.
Yeah. So here, quality of life upgrades, because you that was a thing you mentioned. So one that's a neat one. This one I always thought was kind of fun because nobody really talks about this one. The day one patch actually adds a bunch of stuff. If you're playing off the disc, you're actually missing shit. So on the disc, wait mode has no ascension tree. So wait mode is like vanilla and that's it.
Yeah.
The Kingsglaive scenes and the Omen like trailer, you know, that
Yeah, they're
like,
not
the
in
CG
there.
scenes, they're not in there either. The day one patch adds those.
Dang.
The recipe galleries is added. Sharing prompto photos is added on day one. There's a lot of stuff. The ability to warp outside of battle and buy stuff from the regalia. This was the day one. This is not on the disc. Like there's a bunch of stuff. And like also the campfire scene is not there. It's different. The one
it cuts off very briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually really crazy the amount of stuff that they added on 1.0. It's really clear looking at the patches that they were still working like down to the wire on everything, and that last delay was absolutely necessary. And then like over a short period of time, they added. I'll just go down real quick. New game plus, online timed cutscenes. Extra music and a music player while riding the chocobo. Near music, which was a fun thing. It was before Automata came out, actually.
Yeah, if only we all knew the weight of that song.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Chapter 13, verse 2, which is huge. Major fixes to Chapter 13 in general. The like winning snapshot stuff. You remember they had the photo contests where there's billboards that show contest shit, which is really fun. And then there was like PS4 Pro added timed quests. The Afrojack weapon. You remember that shit? I don't know if you're into that, musician.
No, I didn't.
1.1 added the poll. Do you remember the survey?
Yeah, where you can ask for what features you want.
Yeah, so this was really...
Did you like our game, though?
Yeah, so they added a survey to the title screen, which was there for a couple of iterations. And it was, what would you like to see in future updates? And there were 14 things you could pick from. And they've already implemented a few of these things, and evidently some of them are still being worked on. But that's neat. After that, there was the off-road regalia, which is like a huge thing. It's basically a whole other vehicle. Then there was the Melusine hunt and the Power Rangers costumes, which were also free, I believe. They were. And there was the Booster Pack Plus if you had the season pass.
Yeah.
The Moogle Chocobo Carnival at some point.
I never actually did that.
It's a shame. Then there was the Assassins Festival, the Bestiary, which was like a big addition. Then there was all the Chapter 12 additional cutscenes and shit like that. Dude, like they just went down. They went fucking nuts, and they're still doing this shit. It's awesome.
Yeah. I know.
So
this feels like I'm playing an MMO, honestly.
It's the game's so big. It was in development for 3 years after the game came out. Like it's fucking nuts. And they're gonna continue doing this. That's why I want to wait till like the end of 2019 to replay it, because it's gonna keep going for a while. But it's satisfying that the game is getting better at very least, and wasn't just left at 1.0. So
it shows that they care at the very least.
At very least, yeah.
If not just wanting to save face, but it worked out for the game's a success. It sold a lot of money.
It sold a lot of money, yeah. I agree with what you were about to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, go on. That's the quality of life updates.
Okay. The 4-player character mode, which is a fucking big deal for Royal.
Yeah, I didn't even list that. Fuck. It's true. You want to explain that one?
So basically, you get to use all the characters on the fly with all their movesets from their expansions, and it looks like, that's basically you're just multiplying the amount of ways you play the game by 3 more times.
Yeah, I remember I was talking to a friend about this before this happened, and I was like, I don't think they can do that because it seems way too elaborate. And then they fucking did it, and I was like, oh wow.
They didn't really do it, because anytime you're done with combat, it switches back to Noctis every single time.
It's just for encounters, right?
Yeah, and it sucks because when you get into another encounter, you then have to switch to the character again, which, at least in my experiences on my PlayStation 4, there is a slight hiccup when it switches to a different character.
I bet, it has to load up the whole different thing.
It could be different on a PS4 Pro or the PC version, but at least on my base PS4, it's a little janky, but playing as Prompto is fun. Although you don't get his counter attack.
Yeah,
where he just takes
adjusted a little.
Yeah,
you don't get to pick up random pillars that are littered around the world.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was talking about. That seemed like it would make it really tough. Like, what are they going to put pillars every 30 feet?
They should.
They should. Every 30 feet, a pillar.
That reminds me, and one of the achievements for episode Gladiolus is pick up every pillar.
Yeah. No, it's
Stupid.
pick up every item, isn't it? It's not
There's
pick up every
both.
pillar.
I think there's both.
Those
Is
both.
there? Fuck.
Yeah, pick up every pillar.
It's a lot.
All right. Child of Shade asks, would you guys say that all the post-launch content would be enough to warrant a purchase of the Season Pass and New Game Plus run? Saying this as someone who's gotten a Platinum Trophy not long after launch and hasn't touched it since. Oh, yeah. At least to
I would just say
through all
buy the
Season
Royal
Pass
Edition.
content.
I would say the Season Pass is warranted. I think for some people, pre-Comrades, it wouldn't be warranted because the playtime wouldn't be... Like, you might not consider it worthwhile depending on like what your expected value proposition is for games. Ultimately, like I don't really mind, but it is only like maybe 6 hours of gameplay for whatever $25 before Comrades. But with the addition of Comrades, I think the value proposition also tips over because Comrades is quite large. I would say the Season Pass, if you like FF15, if you like how it is, how it plays, I unambiguously recommend it. If you don't like FF15 and how it plays, it's not going to change your mind.
No.
It's a video game. It'll go on sale at some point.
Yeah. As far as New Game Plus run, I still want to wait until like end of support period because like there's every chance that over the next 2 years they make more additions or tweaks to the single player campaign.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to hold off on that one until the very end, at which point it'll probably be worth it. But I do think the Season Pass is great if you enjoyed the stuff. Don't buy them individually. They're so much more expensive individually.
I would say if you're looking to get into Final Fantasy 15, which was clearly not going to be someone listening to this podcast, if you're looking to recommend it to somebody, a on-sale version of the Royal Edition is honestly going to be the way to go.
Yeah, because Royal Editions, it's just going to be better. Yeah.
Okay. JT Lego 1 says, favorite of the DLC episodes, not counting Comrades. I would say Ignis.
Yeah, same.
I'm still on Prompto. Ignis has like some really awesome story scenes that Prompto just doesn't touch. But there's just something about the aesthetic of Promptos that I really, really enjoyed.
Also, it has fucking RNA. Like, what do you want?
Yeah, RNA partner. No, that's worth it. The Skidoo's like fun too, but I feel like I almost like it just because of my imagination of what it could have been.
Yeah.
Like, again, just one side quest giver would have really expanded that open world from very little to something. So, I don't know.
Maybe it's because episode Prompto is the Half-Life 3 that we're going to get.
Yeah, well.
Okay, Chocobo Festival. It was okay, I guess. You just have a romantic date with your carbuncle.
Yeah. So
what'd you name your carbuncle?
Fettuccine.
After my ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
that went well.
I would I did that because I named it in Platinum demo, right?
Yeah, back when yeah.
And then we broke up and it had been like 5 months, and then I played Final Fantasy 13, and I was like,
oh, you're back. You. Yeah, we didn't even talk about it, but before release there was the episode Duscae, which was like a big chunk of Duscae, and then there was the Platinum demo that was like the ultimate tech demo.
Turned to a giraffe in a race car.
Click this button to change the time of day. Like in real time is the ultimate tech demo, but it's neat. And you got to name Carbuncle, who would then appear in the main game with the name you gave them.
Mine was Dingus.
Nice.
Dingus is pretty strong.
Keep going. But yeah, Chocobo Festival was a free DLC where you get to explore like a festival version of Altissia, where it's all Chocobo and Moogle. And
it was
kind of
like the VV Carnival in Final Fantasy 9, where you just go around and see some sights and attractions.
Yeah. So there was a bunch of mini games. I think the highlight was, for me, it was the Chocobo race mini game.
It was really easy.
It was really easy, but I still found it enjoyable. Unfortunately, if you're listening out there, you've missed it. It was a timed event. It did come back. Like it appeared for a while.
It might for the Royal release, just to,
I hope it continues to come back regularly, and I hope that when they close out the game, they just unlock it forever.
Yeah,
I have a feeling it'll come back just because the PC version of the game's about to come out.
There's a really scary cutscene too where someone in a Kenny costume comes up to you and shoves coke down your throat.
It's important that you see it. If you complete enough stuff too, you unlock I think the item's called the Dream Egg. And that is it does nothing at the time, but in the Assassin's Festival, the Dream Egg.
That's right. You need it to get to Assassin's Festival, don't you?
No, you need it to unlock the Ezio armor.
Okay. Yeah. So then there's the Assassin's Festival, which is...
I really liked it. It was weird.
Yeah, it's an Assassin's Creed themed festival thing that happens in Lestalem.
It was their crossover collab with Ubisoft.
And the boys are big into it. They are like... Well, Noctis is, actually.
And Prompto.
Gladio doesn't really give a shit. Gladio spends the entire time hitting on women. And, like, if you...
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and if you talk to him while he's hitting on women, he'll, like, placate you and give you money. Or items. Just go away. Let me keep hitting on women. Which is
You also
great.
get to see one of Ignis's nipples when he's wearing that outfit.
You do. It's very
one
good.
Big nipple.
Good nip.
Yeah. And yeah, it's a neat thing because whereas the Chocobo Festival was just minigames, this one you get to use some janky parkour and climb on top of the buildings. You get to fight enemies. There's like genuine story sequences and set pieces and explosions and missiles. And
it was really buggy for me.
It is rough.
Because you know that part where you're running across the rooftop, running away from explosions? That part bugged for me and it didn't allow me to proceed. So I had to reload.
Yeah, same. I had to reload as well. Same spot.
Oh, wow.
But
I did it for the first time like last month, so it was like fine. But...
Good. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah. That sucks to hear it was bad.
No, I mean,
it was fine. It was fine. It was just that part.
We did to reload.
Like there's also another part where like for some reason the alert radar wouldn't go away even when I was hidden.
Right.
And so I had to reload for that too.
Yeah, you have to hide in hay bales and shit.
Yeah.
Did you guys do the puzzle?
Yeah, I did. I really like the part where you're looking down at the cars and then they're showing the arrow. That was the best part.
It was good. And then you have to like select the invisible answer.
Yeah.
I did not like the invisible answer. Fuck that one. That one stumped me.
Oh, I kind of tricked myself into it because I pressed up instead of down at that menu, and then I thought it was a bug at first, and I was like, "Oh, no, that's probably the choice."
You guys didn't get to the second half of that, did you?
I finished it.
Yeah, I finished it. You're supposed to do the whole thing where you get tricked into thinking you've had the solution, but then you find the real Assassin's Guild or whatever it was, right?
And then you sell the item?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just making sure.
No, I did the whole thing. And you get a couple Assassin's Creed Origins costumes, and if you got the Dream Egg from the Moogle Chocobo Festival, you get the Assassin's Creed 2. No, is it 2 or is it AC1 costumes? I can't remember.
It's Ezio. I'm pretty sure it's Ezio.
Okay, yeah.
And then you fucking murder someone during the
Yes, thing. Yeah.
I did not do the Moogle Chocobo Festival because I just stopped playing Final Fantasy 15 for like a year.
Yeah,
I wanted all of the season pass content to be out.
Right.
And I just missed it, and now I can never get that Assassin's Creed outfit. And I'm kind of upset because I was there for the,
until they bring it back. And...
Yeah, I don't know if the Assassin's Creed one will come back, but did you guys see?
I think it probably will.
The other side of the crossover.
Yes, I played through it actually. Yeah.
On the Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yeah.
Which is a surprisingly good game. But the Chocobo Camel.
It's really creepy.
I love it. I love the design.
I love it so much.
It's really
also
fun.
Because you have a Final Fantasy 15 tomb that you get to do and stuff. But
it's very short, and you get like an engine blade and a vaguely FF15 themed shield. But the highlight is there is a really high quality CG cutscene where Arden shows up and Bahamut comes out and tries to kick his ass, and it is beautiful. Kudos to Ubisoft's CG team for banging that one out. Arden looks amazing in Engine. He looks slightly different from how he looks in FF15.
He has to be slightly more realistic, too.
But he looks really good. It's all done super well. Unfortunately, the puzzle in the dungeon is like brain dead. But it's fun. It's fun for what it is. And you get a chocobo camel thing that looks beautiful.
It's 4 legs.
He's a gorgeous animal.
Speaking of crossovers, I like how Final Fantasy 15 takes place in the universe of Nier Automata.
Yeah,
And Half-Life.
You can get a Half-Life weapon. You can get a Nier
And the
weapon.
Sims now.
You can get Sims costume. You can get a Dragon Quest weapon. Wait, can you get a Dragon Quest weapon? No, that's in Nier. That's in Nier.
We're getting our Square Enix crossovers mixed up.
Yeah, we're all crisscrossing it back and front.
Crossing the streams.
Yeah, it's true. It's Nier that has the FF15 and the Dragon Quest weapon, not Final Fantasy 15.
Speaking about Nier, did you see they added A2 to the Star Ocean mobile game?
All three of them, yeah.
There's a Star Ocean mobile game.
Great too, yeah. Yeah, it's a gacha game though, so don't get too.
Granted, it is Star Ocean as well, so only one of the games is really good.
You mean two?
Yeah,
what?
That's the only one. I played all of them. That's the only one I like.
That's the only good one.
I think they're also in the Valkyrie profile gacha game as well, but I'm not 100. I think so, but not 100.
The Nier cast is also in the Brave Exvius.
Yeah, it's true.
Just all sorts.
Remember when we said this was going to be a 2-hour podcast?
I don't know. No, I never did. It's
well,
bullshit.
I'm just laughing.
Garbage.
I'm just laughing.
What's next up? We got A King's Tale, which was a
the best thing to come out of Final Fantasy 15.
So I don't remember the team that made it. It was an indie team that made it, and it was a very small, more or less licensed beat 'em up that where you played as Noctis's father and his party, and they're doing some shit, and it doesn't matter. It is a very poor beat 'em up. It is very repetitive. It is very dull, and the achievements / trophies are very poorly designed.
Yeah, not saying that beat 'em ups are easy to design, but it seems like it'd be really hard to make a bad one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think there's just it's just too repetitious. It doesn't have enough interesting stuff going on for the amount of time it lasts. It's long is the thing. A beat like how long is Streets of Rage 2?
Like 50 minutes.
50 minutes? Like this thing's like a few hours, 2-3 hours long if I remember correctly. It's way longer than maybe an hour and a half. Maybe I'm like overestimating, but like it is way longer than it needs to be.
Because it ended up being free anyway. They could have just made this like a 30-minute, look at this cool thing to hype you up for the real game.
Yeah, and it was originally a pre-order bonus for the game at EB Games. But yeah, they made it free on all platforms or whatever, right? At some point.
And even then, it's not worth free.
No, I don't think it's worth your time. Yeah, I'm looking on how long to beat, and yeah, it's an hour and a half is what the over-under kind of is.
I love the characterization of King Regis reading Noctis sleep time stories and being a dad, and I wish more of that was in Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
But instead we got a high tale told by the king in a non-canon story that is an abysmal single-player beat 'em up.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing there's nothing more boring than a single-player beat 'em up, in my opinion.
I mean, if they're good, you can at least do something, but it's not fun. Like, I can't recommend you even play this. Only the most diehard FF15 fans need apply.
And even then, I could only sit through about 25 minutes. I had to turn it off.
Yeah, no, it sucks. I didn't finish it either. It's like, I know I got close to the end because I was tracking them Chivos, but like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where you would play the
Brotherhood,
Price is
the
Right.
We already talked about it, but I'd watch it. It's okay. It's free.
4 episodes.
Crunchyroll.com. Use promo code Boku no
Basement. Promo code Basement for...
I should get one.
You should get a promo code. I mean, you already sold yourself out for Naruto Online.
And Elsword. Boy.
Nice. Elsword. Yeah,
I hope you got good money from that.
Cut that.
Okay. Justice Monsters 5. The in-game mini-game's alright. I did spend like 30 minutes with it, but I tried the mobile game, and okay, so this game was going to start in April, got delayed to August, died in March. I didn't see any appeal.
Servers were down. Yeah.
I didn't see how anyone could get appealed to it. I hope I didn't spend any real money on it.
So yeah, it's well, I think they refunded everyone too.
Oh, did they? Good.
Because it closed so quickly. I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I vaguely
We can find
remember
this
that.
out.
So in universe, it's like sort of like a quasi pinball machine that appears at the restaurants, and you can play this game, Justice Monsters 5, and it's kind of like pinball, and it's also kind of like what's the game called? Monster Strike. It's like a
Monster
hybrid.
Strike's much better though.
Oh yeah, Monster Strike's way better, but it's kind of like hybrid pinball Monster Strike.
You get reimbursed for unused in-game.
Oh, they
stuff.
reimbursed you for unused in-game
Yeah,
currency?
which if you're playing a mobile game,
that's-
why would you hoard them for this one?
It's better than nothing, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
I like the song. The song's a good remix of the.
The song is good.
Yeah.
And basically, this was one of their multiple like in-universe pieces
of
of
Final
media
Fantasy 15.
and like crossover things alongside King's Knight, which I notice is not on our list. It's I don't
Fun.
really remember anyone enjoying the game in particular, and it did not get a warm reception, and as you said, it died within half a year. So
Because it was just these monster designs from the game that are already kind of unappealing. So
they were
Yeah.
kind of stylized as heroes, but it was like I don't think it had that much appeal to anyone.
yeah, I played it for an hour. I did a 10 roll or whatever you do to get a roll in that game, and then I stopped.
Yeah. For context, it's like, when you're watching, when your mom's watching like a CSI show and there's a video game playing in it, and you're like, wow, that video game looks lame. This is the equivalent of that.
Yeah.
Just the like Japanese version of that, where they're playing like a generic gacha game, and you're like, wow, I wish I could play that generic gacha game. Oh no!
Did it have any crossover rewards to the main game? Like, did you get any bonuses or anything?
I don't believe so. I think both King's Knight and Justice Monsters are locked off from the main game in that way, where they don't have any direct touchy-feely stuff.
You
that's
get
what I
a
know.
special sticker for the regalia. Woo.
Oh, you do? Okay,
Yeah.
shit. I actually didn't know that. Then I'll
There
take
you
that
go.
back.
You guys want to know a fun fact?
Yeah.
What's that?
In the movie Charlie's Angels, Final Fantasy VIII is the game in the background.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Does she
dope.
come to the house like naked or something? And hey, you gotta get some clothes or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's playing Final Fantasy VIII, and I was like, "What is that?"
And then you played it.
And then I was like, "What was that?"
I remember on the OC, someone was playing Dynasty Warriors, and yeah. But it was clearly one person controlling Cow, and both of them were holding controllers and doing the fake game matchy thing.
Nice. That's the good stuff.
Okay, I added on King's Knight because I tried that out too, and that was
I'm gonna install it on my phone right now.
Yeah, try King's Knight. It's interesting. It's an adaptation or reimagining of an old NES game. That's basically
That's bad.
The NES game's not great. Yeah,
isn't.
It's pretty much a shmup, and this is a reimagining of a shmup as a shmup/gacha game. And I actually played this pretty hard for like 3 weeks. I didn't
Really?
pay any money, but like I got a bunch of rare characters and weapons, and I actually had like a pretty legit good time with it. The reason I stopped was just I hit the end of the content,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh. But it was actually like quite fun.
Do you think it was made alongside Final Fantasy 15, or was made due to Final Fantasy 15 and they needed something to throw in there?
I think it was another game that they imagined the characters playing and said, let's make this because of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it came out much later than FF15, so it didn't have the... Like, Justice Monsters at least had the advantage of shipping alongside FF15, or relatively close to FF15, like 4 months after.
Yeah.
This is a company that
Wait,
likes.
it did ship, like, just before FF15, didn't it? August 2016? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, fuck me, it shipped right before. But King's Knight took a while to come out. Like, it only came out end of mid-late 2017, so...
Yeah. If you want to watch,
that
if
window.
viewers want to know more about the original King's Knight, ProJared did a pretty good video that explains all the frustrations with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by all means. The new one's all right. It is still online. And actually, okay, so the new one has a promotion with the FF15 mobile version, like Pocket Edition, where you can unlock some weapons by playing King's Knight. And also, you can play with NPC versions of Noctis, Prompto, Ignis, and Gladio right now.
Nice.
Ooh.
Where they'll be like playing the game online with you, quote unquote, and they have little messages and stuff. It's cute.
I really, really like Monster of the Deep.
Yeah.
Yes, I guess we can talk about Monsters of the Deep.
Like, production on VR games has kind of died down, especially, well, like, Moss is the last big one that's coming out right now that we know about, but that game made PSVR really worth it for me.
I'm inclined to agree, man. I one of the reasons I got a PlayStation VR in the first place is because I saw the prospect of a Final Fantasy 15 VR thing. I didn't care what it was, even though it was like shooting guns with Prompto and looking at Cindy's titties. At that place and time, it evolved into what is Monsters of the Deep, the fishing game. And you get to make a character kind of like in Comrades, almost the exact same character creation engine, except slightly more janky because it's running on VR.
Also, more limited clothing too.
Yeah,
it's pretty much exactly the same character editor, just lower resolution. Yeah,
and frame rate. Now, that game's not great looking visually. It's not like it's kind of a task that they pulled it off. I played it on a base PS4, so it kind of looked bad.
On Pro, it looks really sharp, but I feel
but that's not just a fishing game. That's a hell of a fucking weird game.
It's sick. Like it's mostly fishing, but then you get to the boss fights and it's a shooting game at the same time. And it's cool. There's not much more to it than that. You have like very brief encounters with the boys that I wish were longer. But it's pretty enjoyable while it lasts. It's like, I think the main campaign, I streamed it all. I want to say it was like an hour and a half long or something.
I also streamed it. It wasn't super long, but it
was, the bosses were cool and stuff.
The final boss.
Yeah, you really got a real big sense of scale with that final boss.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a fear of the water, and also a fear of things that are like way bigger than me. So the final boss in that game fucked me up. I get scared easy, and that game is full of jump scares, especially if you don't like giant sharks jumping at you at the speed of sound.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably one of my favorite endings in any video game history. Do you guys remember the final thing that happens after the credits?
Not specifically.
Noctis reaches his hand out towards you, and you have to grab his hand.
Oh yeah, that yeah.
And he has a really, really wrinkly hand.
He has a very wrinkly hand. You grab his hand, and the screen fades to black. So it's literally like an 80s action movie where they like lock hands and the music fades out and just ends. I was so happy with that because it was so stupid and cheesy, but it just felt good. The fishing wasn't amazing, you know. It felt good. It
had to be a simpler version of the real one because obviously,
But all of the new soundtrack, all the new songs they added to that game, like the enhanced versions of the fishing songs, were like really tight. Sounded good.
I actually really like the fishing better in Monster of the Deep than in the main game.
Oh yeah,
I agree. Yeah,
it's not complex in the main game, but it is a lot more similar to real fishing in that you spend a lot of time waiting for fish to bite.
Yeah.
I found that kind of tedious. And I also found fishing against some of the stronger fish was a bit of a hassle. Especially, that was what the final arena reward was, Austin. It was the best fishing rod.
Okay.
That was what it was. The one with the highest attack, I believe.
That's right. I needed that for that.
To do Gladio
quest.
Yeah. Did you ever finish that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fucking nightmare.
I
to fish
loved
that
it.
Fish out of water. I hated it. I could not stand it.
You're gonna mash forever, dude.
Dude, I failed so many times. It was very frustrating having to like end the day, go sleep, re-get the quest,
and then
do it
just
again.
Gladio's just silently, oh, you didn't do it, kid.
Yeah, no, I was incredibly frustrated. I think that was the thing that really
lucky.
Tipped me over
to
hating the fishing. Was like, I don't know, man. I didn't totally fully understand. Not that I didn't fully understand it, but I found it wasn't lenient enough with like when your reel took damage. Because sometimes I'd be like, I think I'm doing the right thing, but my reel's taking damage, and then the fish would get really angry. And
you kind of get a feel for it, like you kind of start predicting what the AI is going to do. I can't really describe it, but
but I'm like I still don't feel like I had it 100%. Like I raised Noctis's fishing to level 10, and I attempted that quest like a bunch of times, and I still just did not enjoy the fishing very much. So, so I liked it a lot.
I guess I also got
Monster of
lucky.
the Deep, where it was just streamlined, and you don't worry so much about real durability and or the line durability and stuff like that. So it's more like just fish a lot, get a lot of fish, volume. It's cool. It's nice to interact with the characters a little bit, but I do wish you got more.
What nickname did you give Noctis when he was king of fishing? I went with Noctgar.
I won.
No, I'm talking about in the main game when you had to give an alias to the other guy.
God, I don't even remember.
I don't remember either.
Time ago.
All I remember is dabbing.
I don't remember that at all. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, JoJo posing. That's what
made that
does.
up.
You can see the picture I took, but I took a dab. Oh, also, there's one really cool Easter egg. You know when you're going fishing with Gladio, and he's kind of just on the cliffside for some reason by himself?
Yeah.
If you look inside his tent, he has cup noodles.
Yeah, I saw he has a bunch. Yeah. It's great. I wish you got to spend time in the tent with Gladio.
Oh, yeah?
I know Angela would.
I wish you got to spend time with any of them doing anything of substance. You know,
touch his muscles.
Touch anything.
Yeah,
you get to touch Noct in the car.
I want them to port this to the PC so I can play it on my Vive, and maybe have some mods. Go into the tent. We'll see what happens. We'll see.
We'll see.
The producers said that they wanted to make the PC version of 15 very moddable, so you can do whatever. You can play as a whole party of Kenny Crows if you wanted to.
Oh, he means Monster of the Deep, though. But yeah.
I mean, I think they could. They probably, if they wanted to, they could probably bring it over as well.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? And then I guess the last game, probably one of the most interesting ones.
This is the one I didn't touch, so you'll have to speak.
Let's say most recent, because this is definitely not the last game.
I know one of the most interesting ones. The last one we'll cover tonight, but Final Fantasy 15 Portable, which is a full-on remake or reimagining of Final Fantasy 15 for smartphones. So if you have a newer smartphone, iPhone 7 or Galaxy S7 or higher, you can play this. The first chapter is free. I believe buying all the chapters costs $20, which is
it's $20, or you can buy chapters individually.
Or you can buy them individually, and it's less of a good deal. I know a lot of people balk at the idea of a mobile game costing more than 3 cents, but it's like
they're degenerates.
It's it's an adaptation of FF15. I played through the first chapter, and it's a really solid adaptation.
Obviously, I'm actually halfway through the game.
Are you enjoying it?
I really enjoy it.
I really liked the first chapter. I haven't had a chance to get back to it.
From what I've heard, if you didn't like the combat in the original, this simplified version is actually a lot more fun.
It feels good. I feel like I am playing Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance.
It feels like an all-around more tactile game, too. There's a certain, floatiness to FF15 that kind of permeates the whole game, from the, slight lag when you try to take a jump to just the looseness of the combat. And this game is a much tighter all-around experience, I guess.
Yeah.
The world is evidently a lot smaller. There's obviously a lot less to do. Everything's a little bit streamlined. But, full voice acting, all the voice acting from the main game is still in.
And new voices.
I was going to say, yeah, there's new stuff as well. A lot of cute little, bits of humor that weren't in the main game, too. At some point, they take a photo of your characters, and they appear in their original form. I'm sure you saw that, Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is also kind of weird, the end of chapter 1 in the original game where they're lamenting the loss of Insomnia, and it's the same exact cutscene with the same exact lines, but it's done in this weird chibi style that's not quite World of Final Fantasy or Theatrhythm, It's this weird Noctis is an Onion Man kind of thing.
No, I know a lot of people aren't too into the aesthetic, but
well, that's what games
I like it.
That's what games back in the day when they were really simplistic. So,
but the way this game works is every single chapter is its own level.
Yeah.
You don't like.
It's not an open world.
It's not an open world game. So you play chapter 1, and that actually goes into about chapter 3 of the main game, if I'm not mistaken. No, like chapter 2.
But it's all like reorganized. It's not exactly the same progression. So.
There are 10 chapters total in I think it's 10 in portable. And it plays nice. A lot of the flavor text and new stuff they're adding is really neat. There's a scene where Gladio's hitting on a girl, and he says, "Stay beautiful" to her, and Noctis thinks that Gladio's talking to him, and is like, "Oh, I will." Like it's just little things like that. And the story of 15 works so much better as a linear game. I actually think that's
fucking crazy. Like I can't believe how well it works comparatively.
The pacing is just better than the open world game, and like so far, I'm not done with it. So far, the events that have unfolded and the new stuff that's added, I think it's worth the purchase price. I'm still gonna beat it. I'm doing a full video on it as well. Like I'm doing my own update video and then a portable video because that game has things I want to talk about. But
nice.
I was surprised. I thought I was going to hate it because, and I think everyone thought it was going to be bad because A, it's a mobile game, but then everyone forgot that Square Enix, with the exception of Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy 5 and 6, put some effort into their original mobile titles like Chaos Rings and stuff.
I mean, like, as a rule, like, Square Enix's original mobile games generally are pretty good.
Yeah, did you play the new Dissidia?
I was going to say, obviously, there's some stuff like All the Bravest that's, like, not great.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, like, yeah, the new Dissidia, it's a gacha game, but it's still, like, pretty fucking solid.
It is.
Crazy production values. Yeah. Valkyrie Profile and there's Star Ocean Anemnesis or whatever the fuck it's called in Japan are, like, real impressive.
Brave Exodus.
Sino Alice.
You know what? Even their ports, like Chrono Trigger mobile port is fine because it's a mobile port of Chrono Trigger.
Acceptable.
It's just not supposed to be the Steam version.
But then you look at like The World Ends With You and the Dragon Quest games, which are sublime ports.
Yeah.
The Dragon Quest games are really wonderful. Actually, you can play 1 through 6 and 8. I think 7 is missing, but yeah.
If there was one surprise that the universe of 15 has given me so far, it's been the portable demake.
Yeah, it's really quality. I know a lot of people giggle at this version of the game online, but no, it's legit. Again, if you have a phone that supports it, like give the first chapter a try. I guess fair warning, it is a large download. It is not a small game, but no harm in trying it. It's a cool time.
Fun.
Yeah, you should try it too, Thomas.
I haven't downloaded it. I just haven't tried it yet.
I downloaded it on my iPhone 6, which it did not work on, but I wasn't sure of what the specs were. So, and it played the opening cutscene, like the Ifrit back in time sequence. And then when I tried to load up the first chapter, it would crash, and that fucking bummed me out.
Oh no!
I was like, oh well, gotta use a different phone.
Yeah,
and that sucked. But hey, weird that one scene worked, but not the rest. Anyhow.
Okay. Well, that answers George Dizzle's question on how you feel about the demake. So I guess we didn't finish it, so I can't answer the second part of his question. Do you think they'll tie the two parts together a bit nicer than the original?
Does it tie the two parts together?
I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
However, based on the pacing of things so far, I feel like it's going to make more sense because there's not going to be like, all right, it's time to go to Alticia, and then instead you just spend 20 hours fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, or suddenly you feel like, hey, I spent 50 hours in open world. Why is everything suddenly streamlined?
I do think, unlike the main game, this will probably not get 3 years of additions, which is very telling as to the fact that it's a more tight, finished, polished experience, whereas the base game is a victim of circumstance, and they can just keep enhancing it and improving it as they make new content, whereas this one is just like, we're just going to port the main game and it's going to be a new gameplay style, so we don't have to worry about having to fix it or anything, and it'll just be done.
I'm serious when I say it's literally Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance.
Yeah, it's like a top-down thing with a bunch of characters. Yeah,
and
totes.
And they didn't have to write a new story. They hardly had to record new lines and write new dialogue. They just took what existed and changed it into a different game.
Yeah,
and it works just fine.
Okay,
I'll let you know if it ties the two parts together when I get there.
Okay, I wrote a section for developments from Versus 13. Did you want to talk about your experience with how long this game has been actually in development, Liam?
I guess it's worth talking about it just a little bit. There was obviously I'm not going to go like too deep into details because some of it I shouldn't, but I for a period worked under Square Enix, and between some of the stuff I heard that I feel comfortable talking about and some of the stuff that's public info, I think it's like always interesting to note that although 13 and Agito 13 and Versus 13, Agito for 13 of course turned into Type 0, although these games were all pretty much announced simultaneously and shown off with nice beautiful CG trailers simultaneously. That's the one with lightning on the train and the one with Noctis in the car, and these were all simultaneously announced. Versus 13 actually didn't begin development at all until 13 shipped, which was years after Versus 13 had first been shown. It was at 0%, or I should say 0 to 5%, until 13 shipped, and then development started in earnest on Versus, and it was worked on for about 2 years, maybe a little bit more, before they kind of said this is not really going to work on current gen consoles, PS3 and 360. Of course, at the time it was only for PS3, so I guess I shouldn't even factor 360 into this. But that was the sentiment, was like, this shit's not going to work. One of the main issues was getting the warp strike to work, getting areas large enough for the warp strike to matter and feel like it was a mechanic that mattered or had significance. Yeah. You know what I mean? If the areas were too small, then what's the point of having a warp strike?
Otherwise you'd just be playing like a Kingdom Hearts kind of thing.
Yeah, so that was a big struggle, and just they were having a hard time getting shit working. So they basically just put the game on ice after like 2 and a bit years of development, after FF13 had shipped. And then it really didn't resume development until like the year before they showed it off at E3 2013 or whatever. So the game, there's the myth of the 10-year development cycle, because it took from E3 2006, was it E3 2006 the first reveal, or was it TGS? Anyway, it took from 2006 to 2016 for it to reveal or to release.
Yeah.
But the reality is, like, the game we played was made in like a pretty conservative 3-4 years, and the original Versus 13 game was developed for like 2 years, and most of it was scrapped. But it wasn't
that's what I hear.
One of the things that I see like banded around a lot is like Nomura was incompetent, Nomura was not good at planning, or like Square Enix is not good at planning or whatever, and it's not really accurate at all. The reality is like it just really wasn't working nice on PS3, combined with like the absolute scope of the game, and they kind of realized it wouldn't be wise to continue on such an absurdly large project, considering they were already having hardware related problems. So that kind of turned into that, and we know Tabata got put on because, well, he did a real good job shipping games before, and Nomura needed to move on to Kingdom Hearts 3 as well, which had also been kind of in development limbo. So yeah, it was a really interesting circumstance. There's a lot of interview bits you can read in various outlets online. I don't know if there's one that collects all of it in such a nice format, but you can try to piece it all together. That's a rough history of the development.
I would love
just based on
to see a documentary on all this.
Yeah, I think if Square was willing to be open about it,
I think the game would get more respect, actually.
I was gonna say I don't see any reason they shouldn't be. Like, I would love if are you familiar with Danny O'Dwyer's No Clip?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would love if he was able to do a Versus 13 / Final Fantasy 15 series, because we like there's a fair amount of Versus 13 footage out there just from like all the trailers and gameplay bits we saw. I think there's like
like characters look completely different.
The gameplay is also a bit
the king played a much bigger role
too. Although even back then you could switch characters. There's footage of playing as Prompto.
The game looks closer to what Kingdom Hearts 3 is now.
Like a little bit. It's a little faster paced and stuff too. I remember where I worked at the time, there was a reel of like Square Enix games that would just play, and every other day I'd walk into work and the Versus 13 trailer would be playing, and while I waited for the elevator, I'd just be staring at it like, oh, I can't wait for this, you know.
And then you kept waiting.
If this game didn't exist anymore, they wouldn't be playing a trailer at my Square Enix workplace, right? That was kind of my mentality as I crossed my fingers and waited, right? So I don't know. I'm glad it came out, even though it's so different. One other tidbit that I picked up, and I don't think this is a secret to anyone, but I don't know how talked about publicly this is. Something I heard internally that I feel comfortable talking about is a person of very high standing at Square Enix at the time told me one-on-one when I was just asking about it that Nomura likes to work with like a pre-rendered trailer as like his beginning point, where they'll get a lot of concept art done and then he'll help direct a trailer himself to kind of like show the team exactly what his vision is. And that was kind of what that first trailer for Versus 13 was, you know. That's why we saw it so early, because it was like he got this made early so they could work on it. That's what all the like end of Kingdom Hearts like secret movies are. That's like getting ready for the next game, so he can really direct the team so they can have a clear vision of where it's going. And I think historically, if you look at those CG trailers that we have seen and the results of those trailers, again, like Kingdom Hearts 1 secret movie to Kingdom Hearts 2, I think you can see there's a clear through line, and you can see that those ideas get translated very clearly. So
seems to be kind of similar to Hideaki Anno and the End of Eva trailers.
Yeah, a little bit, I suppose. I hadn't really thought of it that way, but I don't know. I haven't seen that posted online or anything, so I don't know if anyone's like familiar with that being a thing of Nomura's. But yeah, it's not just a coincidence. It's not just a Kingdom Hearts thing. It's like it's a Nomura thing. Mm-hmm. So, you know, yeah. I don't know, kind of a neat thing, I thought.
All right, we gotta. Yes, these questions.
Sure.
Now.
Sorry to ramble for a while. Thank you for.
Oh no, we were in Liam's General Grievous corner. That's our new segment for every episode. Where I use that Photoshop that I really like.
It's beautiful. So, question period, right?
Yeah. Okay. Best boy.
Gladio.
Noctis.
Damn.
That's fine.
Outnumbered.
I guess I lose.
Okay. Triple Q just has a joke comment. Now that the Gordon Freeman costume is real, where do you think Final Fantasy 15 fits into Half-Life and Full Life Consequences timeline? Honestly,
shit.
Like with video games, I always treat them like they can always have these fucking universal crossovers, just like Smash Bros. And stuff like that. So, sure, why not?
Yeah, it's an AU. It's totally an AU. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Okay, Whack the King says, would y'all like Noctis to appear in Kingdom Hearts 3? I'd be pretty surprised if he didn't, make an appearance like any of the other Final Fantasy characters would.
Yeah, he's definitely going to make an appearance. He already was in the trailer. It was Riku. He's Noctis.
That's true.
I'm super not averse to it, and I actually kind of think it's somewhat likely, considering like Nomura. It's like one of Nomura's babies. Even though Nomura didn't get to carry the game to the finish line, like it's one of Nomura's characters. So I kind of feel like it's liable to show up.
Yeah, from a marketing standpoint too, it makes more sense to hype up the game still.
Yeah.
If he's in Dissidia,
shows up too, so.
Yeah, I'm sure Lightning will be in too. I mean, we haven't had a proper Kingdom Hearts since Final Fantasy 12 wasn't even out yet. So, like,
Oh, come on, Birth by Sleep counts. If you're not going to count Dream Drop Distance, you at least have to count Birth by Sleep. I get what you mean, though. I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't help that they like having all these weird subtitles and not just numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. Joke comment from my friend. What ratio of chocolate to milk does Noctis, the Cocoa Prince, have in his chocolate and milk mix?
That was a thing from Brotherhood, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a joke a lot of my friends had where they all called him the Cocoa Prince because he liked...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He seems like the guy where he pours like half a cup of milk and then grabs one of those Hershey's syrup things and just like pours it in, and you look at him and he's like making direct eye contact with you and not stopping the squeezing.
Yeah, Noctis is big on unhealthy choices, even if he doesn't necessarily understand the ramification of them fully.
He'll fucking kill you if you try to make him eat vegetables.
Yeah, I always like that in Brotherhood, where like that's kind of the first.
It was like
thing
10 seconds, but it told you a lot about his personality.
Yeah,
he's a
first thing
bitch,
in the
baby.
first episode, he opens up his burger, takes the veggies off, and like
he doesn't throw them away; he puts them on Ignis's plate. He really looks like Sasuke in this.
He does.
It was the next thing.
Balbadorf says, the new combat system never grabbed me. I love the boys as someone who's tried numerous cases to play the game, never made it past the first town. Tell me why it's worth playing now or how to best join my time. Try not to leverage the DLC too much. The mobile version seems like a good alternative to that.
Yeah, if you didn't make it past the first town, which I'm not sure if that means the gas station or Lestalem, I don't know that it's going to re-grab you. I don't think the game has changed enough fundamentally that I could recommend it to someone who's bounced off of it so decisively. So I would say, if you are interested, check out the mobile game, or maybe give it another look at I know this sounds like a joke answer, but maybe give it another look once all the updates are done in like 2020.
I also think that we should tweet this answer at this person.
Yep.
Since this is the Final Fantasy 15 spoiler.
Yeah.
Okay,
good. I'll put a note down for that.
Feel free to, yeah.
Yeah. Also, like, unfortunately, I haven't seen any of the normal Let's Players. I watch tackle this game, but I'm pretty sure you can watch a Let's Play for it and get a similar experience. You can have basically a fifth party member talking to you constantly about the game.
You can be just as confused as they will be.
Okay. Game Apartment 1C says, do you see Final Fantasy 15 as a critical success when compared to the rest of the series, or do you feel it's elsewhere? Considering its sales, I think on a critical level, I mean, not a critical, but on a marketing level, I think it's succeeded. Commercial, yeah.
Yeah, commercially, it's a resounding success. Like, it is well on its way to 10 million units, which is wild. And this is totally besides all the ancillary media sales of Kingsglaive, royalties for Kingsglaive and Brotherhood continuing. The mobile versions, the various accessory games and merchandise, wildly successful commercially. As
Cup noodle money.
Cup noodle money, rake it in.
Rake that Coleman bucks, dude.
As a critical success, I mean, I think it's clear that the reviews generally skewed a little lower than some of the other highest rated Final Fantasies. Mm-hmm. There were still undoubtedly lots of phenomenal reviews, and I don't want to undercut that. But I think most people who have played it, who have a bit of a critical eye, are definitely clear on the idea that this is not as polished a game as previous Final Fantasy.
And granted, it doesn't have a good first impression. It's really hard to get into, especially if you don't care about the universe.
Yeah, it's rougher. The storytelling is not as clear or, in a lot of cases, well done as many other Final Fantasy titles. I think, like, in my personal pantheon, it's definitely in the lower half of Final Fantasies. Bearing in mind, I still like pretty much all of them.
15 kind of sits like directly in the middle for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I could make like a weird metaphor, I would say Final Fantasy 15 is like a bitter IPA. For all you beer drinkers out there, right. Where maybe it's not great, but you're like, if you like beer, you're probably gonna like it. Beer pig Final Fantasy.
You'll find something in there for you.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that's the thing. There's a lot to like in the game, but you do have to see past its flaws. And I think critically, it probably scored a little higher than I would score it, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah. It has the best acting of any Final Fantasy I've ever played.
What?
Yeah.
Like the acting?
Someone's never seen Chocobocolina in
I don't want to talk about Chocobocolina.
Returns.
The fucking no.
Like, here's a question from me. What's your favorite Final Fantasy game? 9!
9, 6, and 12 are kind of tied for me.
Probably, honestly, 2. I love 2. It's so cool. No, seriously, it's such an interesting game.
I'm not doubting you. I'm just laughing at your answer.
I always get upset because everyone's like, "Yeah, that's fake," and it's like, "No,
I can believe you.
It's a saga game. So
you
I
like the
it.
saga games, so yeah,
what
that
is
fucking
it
makes
about
sense.
2 that you like?
I like how the stats work in that game.
Okay.
I like how open the world is from the get-go and how many options you have. Even though ultimately to do the story, you kind of have to go in a linear path. Like there's a lot of neat stuff you can do if you want to sequence break, getting certain pieces of gear and getting super OP. I like what it's willing to do with the cast all the time. Like Minwoo fucking dies like super early into the game. You get this party member and you're like, oh, he's sick, he's cool, and he fucking dies super hard. There's a lot of neat stuff that happens in Final Fantasy 2. There's the keyword system where you get keywords that you have to bring back to people to interact. Like you'll interact with someone and you'll be like, well, I don't know what I need to say to them. Like I literally don't know the words. And then you'll collect the word as like a key item and you'll come back and you'll be like, now I know what, like it's a thing of like in other Final Fantasy games, you'll go to someone and you'll ask a question. In Final Fantasy 2, you'll go to someone and you won't even know what question you have to ask. And I find that interesting.
I think 2 has a lot of really neat concepts, but yeah, well, this is not a Final Fantasy 2 podcast. I'm not going to question you. I've just never heard anyone ever say 2.
No, it's cool. I played it. I played the GBA version.
Dawn of Souls.
And I've never played the original, and to be honest, I have no interest in ever playing the original.
It fixes a lot of things from someone who's played it. So yeah.
I hear, yeah.
The PSP version is the one you want to play.
I'm sorry, Austin?
Do the PSP version. That's the good one.
Is it? I have no idea. Is that the one that's on PS1, right?
No, it's better.
They updated the graphics, and I think they keep
and they had the higher quality sprites and shit, right?
Yeah, the PSP version of 1, 2, and 4 are the best versions of those games.
I kind of forgot that those even existed. That is kind of appealing. But yeah, I don't know. Just something about 2, and I was the right place in the right time too. Like I was young and like I liked RPGs, and I kind of had an idea of what RPGs were. And then I played FF2, Dawn of Souls, and I was like, oh, this is different. Like this is doing a lot of weird shit, and it's not all winners. The stuff that happens in that game, but the cool shit's really cool. I like Furion a lot too. Like he's just a cool character.
He's got a good design.
I will say they kept them out of World of Final Fantasy.
It's extremely interesting to me that we have a 9 fan, a 2 fan, and a 12 fan in the same room.
Well, these things happen.
These things happen.
Although, like, I don't hate any of the Final Fantasy games. I like all of them. I just like 9 the most.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's the thing. They're all pretty good. I mean, I think 13, not counting 11 and 14 since they're MMOs. I'm not even gonna just touch those for this like single player conversation. But as far as the main line goes, so putting aside 10-2, putting aside 13 sequels, I think 13's probably like unambiguously the weakest, although even that one has its strengths
and have some very loud fans.
Like strengths of 13, lightning, character design, the music,
the battle Blinded by the Light is really good.
Blinded by the Light is the best. It's so good.
That song gets to me because you can only hear the first 15 seconds of it. First half of the game.
That game is like disgustingly polished. I went back to it like 2 years ago just to remind myself. It is one of the most polished games I've ever played.
I'm doing a retrospective on it starting in like a week and a half, so wish me luck.
Enjoy how polished it is.
That game
doesn't have very many rough edges.
Final Fantasy 13 is visually outstanding still.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. No, it's cool. I think that's the best compliment I can afford it. It's very cool.
I have a question.
But Lightning Returns is way better.
I have a question for Final Fantasy 13. Very quick for you guys.
Yeah.
Name the villain. There you go. That's how I feel about Final Fantasy 13.
I finished the game too, so I feel extra bad.
Yeah, I know that you can't. There's no villain.
Sid's an asshole in that one.
He's an SL in 12.
Is it Bunivels? BHUN.
There's a lot of pictures of Caius, and
It's more of a rhetorical question because the villain of Final Fantasy 13 is the l'Cie. There's just not a central antagonist.
Well, 'cause I was gonna say, I know the l'Cie is the bad thing. Bunivels is a god, appearance, personality, story. Fuck, if I actually guessed it. No, I didn't.
The actual
Bunivels is one of the gods. Okay.
The actual person a lot of people consider the antagonist is Orphan.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He's the villain in.
Okay, Bunivels is the final boss of Lightning Returns. That's why I was confused. Okay, fuck me. You're right. Nobody can name that. God damn it, Austin. You're so right.
There's no bad guy in 13.
Fuck you. There must be.
This has been a hot topic on my Discord for a month now. Just Final Fantasy 13. I've been hearing the lore about Lightning being God, basically.
Okay, so I'm at FF13, I'm at Final Fantasy list of antagonists on the wiki.
I'm on it too.
Okay, Sid Reigns is undoubtedly not the villain of that game.
Neither's Jill.
Neither's Jill, but she's cool. I don't think Yag is. I don't remember what this character looks like. Nope, not him.
People are saying Galanth is on the main page of his wiki. Let me post it.
Barthandalus. Yeah, he's the one I would peg as the main guy if I had to pick one.
Yeah, but Kefka, though. Yeah, but Sephiroth, though.
It doesn't have a clear villain.
Is that because it's too smart for me?
No, the one thing that I did like about FF13 was how the Fal'Cie l'Cie thing worked. Because that's actually pretty fucking cool, but it was just not told in a clear way.
Do you guys want to do a Final Fantasy 13 spoiler cast in the future?
I'd have to replay it, but sure.
We'd have to replay the game, but sure, that would be
I'm
great.
about to anyway. So.
Yeah. We're shitting on 13, but then again, Necron popped out of nowhere in 9.
Yeah, let's wait till the PS4 version comes out.
Right.
Yeah.
Get those fucking trophies, dog.
I did the platinum in 13.
Oh, you
I did.
Crazy motherfucker.
It's actually not that bad. It's just really time consuming.
Okay.
Right.
Anyway,
so many asides.
Yeah. Well, Ben J. Lee might as well answer all these fucking things. We're almost at the end. What part of the game do you think could have been added to make it more appealing while maintaining the current model of the game and DLC episodes? For example, more combat abilities or more post content. If they just tweak the combat to be a little bit more fleshed, tighter, I would have probably preferred that.
What they could have added, I think for me, the thing they could have added to make it more appealing was a wider selection of side quests that directly involve the main 4 boys. It would have been nice if every one of the boys, Noctis included, had a selection of side quests, even if it wasn't like a storyline sequence. If they had a bunch of unique character side quests, more than the 2 that they each have now, and maybe with more meaning than just let's fish a fish or let's cook a lunch, I think that would have been really cool. There's a really awesome scene with Prompto on the roof of a motel.
If you happen to sleep there, it's really good. You don't really get that with anyone else, do you?
No, and
you get to cook with Ignis, and you get to go fishing with Gladio once, and that's.
And I really think that would have been... Gladio also has the cup noodle, but I really think more of that would have been really cool. In episode Duskai, that's actually one of the things that I think they added in a patch, but I can't recall. It might have been the base thing. Even Duskai had a crazy amount of patches that added shit, but where they had character missions where it was
I forgot that they updated this guy. Jesus.
They did. Yeah. It looked better. It ran better. I think the character missions were added post patch. Actually, one of them was you and Prompto go take pictures of the Katobla Pass in the water in the Duskayan marsh. There was one with Glady as well, and I don't know. I kind of felt like that was going to be a precursor for a bunch of character quests in FF15, and that just never really happens. And I think if I could pick one thing, because the question's about adding something, I would add strong character quests that really build up specific relationships between the characters.
My answer is a more distilled version of yours, and it's just cutscenes.
Yeah, more cutscenes. Yeah,
Just
I don't
cutscenes,
disagree
man.
with
Like
that. Yeah.
even with all the NPCs we're talking about, if they had cutscenes that were more than just the talking text boxes, they were actually moving around and doing stuff, that would add a lot more to them.
Yeah.
We'd have
The
more
scene
reason
where
to care
fucking-
about Jared.
The scene where Arnea literally jumps on top of Prompto and is scolding him adds so much to her character, adds so much to Prompto's character, and then just like a scene where two characters are talking in the in-game engine where you move the camera around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like cutscenes. That's it. Just a little bit of give those fucking mocap actors some work, man.
Yeah, yeah. No, you get a lot out. They definitely get good shit in the cutscenes for sure. Mm-hmm. Almost all the cutscenes are like the actual.
They're incredible.
Fully animated cutscenes. They're all pretty good. So, yeah.
When fucking Noctis is watching Luna give the speech thing and he starts crying, I'm like, oh my gosh.
That one was kind of weird. That like they both gave each other a weird nod at one point.
And then you're like, no, now I'm crying. Yeah.
I didn't really feel anything with that one. That's just
Me neither. Only
I'm
Austin did.
I'm just too emo, dude.
Yeah.
Being in a
at
long
Full
distance
Metal Momo
relationship,
says,
man, it hurts. It's good.
At the point where Final Fantasy 15 is done and dusted, do you think Square will try and figure out more streamlined Final Fantasy games, or continue with the current formula in open world? I don't know where they're going to go after this, because I don't think they can match the scope of what they want to do with this one.
Well, now that they have the engine, it's clear that they can pump out content pretty quickly.
I guess, yeah.
Well, it's interesting because it's been. I mean, obviously, plans can change between now and the end of 2019 when FF15 will probably be done and dusted. But it's been pretty much confirmed that Tabata said that next they're going to work on a new game using the same framework and engine, but it's not going to be Final Fantasy. It's going to be an original thing. This is known. Like you can Google this.
Yep.
So I'm really unclear on what they're going to do next. I mean, I think the next Final Fantasy release it's Final Fantasy VII. And, like, I know normally the remakes wouldn't take a slot, but this is going to take a slot because it's going to be a big fucking game, you know? So it's Final Fantasy VII is the next Final Fantasy game. It's not like... I mean, I know it's just a remake, but it's not like when they've re-released FF7 on PSN and it was just, like, there in between. Like, this is a gargantuan undertaking. And they're making it on UE4, so...
And in multiple parts.
And in multiple parts, you know, that's the next Final Fantasy. So I don't think we're going to see 16 until, you know, either very late in 7 or after 7. So probably not till 2020 something, you know.
Hopefully I'll be dead by then.
I mean, like optimistically, the first part of FF7 is like end of 2019 or 2020. Right?
Yeah, I can see that.
That's kind of what I think.
Because the whole sector, whatever the fuck it is, the big rotting pizza is like a full game in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's wild. I know a lot of people have been really unhappy with the conversations about splitting FF7 into multiple games, but like, I mean, when you look
a lot in that game. It's huge. It is so fucking massive.
Well, and the idea of making those areas all full 3D environments that aren't just fixed camera angles that can lock you out for arbitrary reasons, and actually having fully explorable environments, like that is gargantuan. It really can't be understated. I mean, even just looking at FF15, where they built a big world that was like a relatively empty, you know, open world with like quests peppered through it. Like, you think of fucking FF7, it's got that open world, but then it's also got
more
like
so.
incredibly dense areas on top of it. And yeah, more so. I agree. There's even more. So it's, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a while till we see Final Fantasy 16, I think. Although, you know, I think as soon as the end of 2019 or 2020, we could start seeing the new thing Tabata and his team are going to be working on as well. Yeah. So
they got a lot of people working there.
Yeah, for sure. So no, this is going to be a minute. It's going to be a hot minute.
Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully Final Fantasy 13-4, but...
At Star Bomber, do you think the way Final Fantasy 15 originally released with knowledge of all new content was patched in improvements, blah, 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 I'll just type it from here, included in Royal Windows Edition was acceptable as a full-price game? Do you think any other full-price game could do this in the future? I still think there's a lot of content in this game, besides people feeling that it's empty.
I spent 85 hours on my file.
Even if you're rushing through
now
it,
I
it's still
have
a 12-hour
20 hours on my file.
No, I mean, we talked about it. I talked about it briefly before, and like at the end of the day, like there was still a full game there. Even though the game has gotten, dramatically better over time, like on day one, you were getting a full game with a huge amount of, like, a 30-hour campaign and an extremely large amount of post-game content. I do think that for a full-priced $60 game on day one, you were getting a good deal. Like, if anything was brought to question on day one for me, it would be the actual quality of Final Fantasy 15 and not the content. Like, the looseness of the combat and the callousness with which the story is told. That's what I would bring to question, and not the content improvements over time or anything like that.
Yeah. Shirtless Gladio by default.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I think if anything else, like, games should endeavor to improve themselves in the same way as, FF15. Because, nobody intends to ship a game that is underwhelming, but this is clearly a victim of circumstance, and, they've been salvaging it as best they could over time. And I think it would be admirable if you released a game where there were clear faults that, maybe you didn't notice, or maybe you knew you weren't going to have time to address, but you just had to ship, and then you, like, spent the time to add free updates to the game to fix it. Like, obviously, like, Royal Edition is a bit of a weird one, but for the most part, they've been free editions, and that's something I respect a lot. But I do think on day one, you were still getting a pretty good game that definitely had the value for your money. So I do think it was okay. Like, I think if you only had 10 chapters, it probably wouldn't be okay. But because it's all there, I think it's fine. So,
yeah. Anything for you, Austin?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I'm ready on Steam, sorry.
Yeah, I should have read at the same time, but Twill for the win says, would you be okay with another game to take on the update structure? I think
we kind of have danced around that, but it seems like we're all okay with it as long as
I like the idea of a game being announced after it's well in development instead of us being, blue-balled for a long time like this one.
I don't think this is going to happen again, though. I think that this game is just a victim of a lot of circumstances. But, I mean, a game getting a bunch of updates, that happens. Maybe not to the level of Final Fantasy 15, but games definitely get improved over time for long periods of time still.
Yeah.
Every AAA game you could think of has that happen.
No, for sure. I'm perfectly okay with it. It's fine.
For Overwatch.
Because worst comes to worst, like, just don't buy it and just wait till it's wherever you feel comfortable calling it finished. You know what I mean? Like, that's... At the end of the day, like, I'd rather, instead of everyone shitting on the developers, just don't buy it and wait till you're comfortable, or just don't buy it. It's like... I don't think there's anything morally or ethically wrong with doing something like this, because it's like, again... If someone told me they beat FF15 on the first week and then they sold it, I wouldn't say that they got an underwhelming experience. And I think they would be able to participate in this discussion more than adequately. So I think it's very telling the percentage of content that was still there on day one. 90 to 95+%.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay, this last one is a long one, and it kind of goes into fan theories, so let me try to read this properly.
You're going to have to take this one.
Okay, at JRPG says, the endings seem really blatant that Noctis did time loop with his responsibilities, /powers, /attitude, and had to sacrifice his lazy summer road trip life, /bonding with the boys, period, and defeat Arden early on. The internet thinks Luna and Noctis are dead in the ending title screen. I'm really baffled by this, and I hope it comes up in your discussion, or you can rephrase that into a form of a question. I feel an insane fan theorist for acknowledging Ken and Dog time travel, which Luna does in a scene where she convinces Ravus to help Noctis. So basically the big theory is that this whole game runs on a time loop, and the only way it's stopped is by Noctis sacrificing himself to defeat Arden, and I can see where that's coming from.
I think that the time travel stuff is just video game stuff and nothing more.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's really all I can say on that one. They're dead, man. Like if there was like a happy ending, like at the ending there where Noctis supposedly he wouldn't have that picture that you show. You can have a picture of you literally as old people about to fight Arden, and then show that to Luna, but that doesn't make sense in any kind of timeline. I don't know. It's just video game shit, in my opinion.
I wanted to ask, do you guys think that the loose way in which the story is told has kind of fostered an environment where fan theories are... where there's a lot of fan theories and where like people trying to piece together how things happened has led to more speculation than most games?
It's kind of like if you have an idea that changes over time, it gets looser and easy to interpret in different ways.
I also think that...
I don't know who you're quoting, but yeah.
I was just doing the the Plinkett voice.
Square Enix is doing that to themselves as well. They're like, oh, this is the new ending in episode Ignis.
Do you guys remember the new ending for Final Fantasy X?
Yeah, you know what? That's certainly, yeah.
People don't take things in different ways.
Well, people are so attached to the concept of what's canon, and then...
Yes,
And I think you guys need to play it through the Danganronpa franchise.
Oh my god. Yeah. Did you finish V3?
I haven't yet. It's still sitting there on my shelf.
I thought you hated the ending, Liam. Did you have a heel turn?
It took me like...
I knew it would. I remember DMing you. I remember DMing you.
I remember when I posted about it, someone said give it a week, and it took like 2 weeks, but I have turned around 100%. It's one of the best endings I've ever played in a video game.
It was my game of the year, it's above Nier Automata.
Amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Thomas, you need to fucking play that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that sometime. But also, I think that Square Enix, it just wants people talking about their game, mostly. And also with a sad ending, usually comes a lot of people trying to make it so that their sad ending isn't sad.
Yeah.
Maybe slight delusion. I'm sorry, I sound like an asshole.
Hey, it's a video game. You can believe whatever you want.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the fucking guy that I love tragedy and like sadness and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, they're fucking dead, But if you feel like an insane fan theorist, just do your thing, man.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, I don't mean to like shut anyone down, but yeah.
Okay, I got one last question for you guys. Did you guys play Dissidia NT yet?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I like it. I don't care about the story. I just think the 3v3 combat's a lot of fun with friends.
See, I actually like the story aspect, but the gameplay I think doesn't feel as good as, the originals.
We should play it as a group. I have on my Discord, I have we have a couple parties set up. We have one that's just called Soy Boys, and it's 3 Vons. And we win every single time.
I'm in I don't know what this is about me, but I'm in 5 different Discords where they all have a channel called Soy Boys.
That's the new hot meme, dude.
Yeah, I guess.
I haven't played it, but I didn't really like the PSP one, so I have no...
I hated the PSP games, and I like the new games.
Well, I also don't really dig fighting games where I have to use a team. So I'm double turned off.
Do you not like Gundam Versus?
He doesn't.
I do not.
Then you would not like Dissidia NT.
To be honest, the only fighting game of that style that I've ever gotten into to any capacity was ARMS. So yeah.
Yeah.
Because ARMS is just a Gundam Versus, but you punch.
And slower. And
slower.
sexier in a little ways.
And much sexier.
Something I wanted to add on to that.
But there's no 500-point ARMS characters, so I don't feel cool.
Something I want to add on NT part. The controls just don't feel as tight as they were in the PSP version. You can only equip 1 HP attack at a given time.
Unless you're Vaughn.
Yeah,
and you get
some
2.
characters, the control point mode is really, really bad, I think. A lot of stats don't make sense, why does everyone have 3,500 HP you would think they would balance it out differently for different parties. Single player content is really limited to old games where you can grind and do cool shit. You basically have to get through an RPG mode. There's just a lot of problems with it. I like the idea of it. It looks pretty, has some okay remixes, but it's not 100% there for me.
Yeah, I just have fun playing the multiplayer.
Yeah. However, it is a Koei Tecmo game, so I'm hoping they take the assets and make it into a Dynasty Warriors or something.
Dynasty Warriors NT.
Yeah, I'd be down with that.
There is one thing that the game does with Noctis, actually, where, like, apparently Square Enix just doesn't give a fuck about spoilers and other forms of media.
Wait, what?
Because, like, half of Noctis's lines are just fucking spoilers for Final Fantasy 15. In Dissidia. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
He's just like, I can't believe I died at the end of Final Fantasy 15.
Wow, I died at the end of Final Fantasy 15.
Wow, Gladio's DLC sucked in Final Fantasy 15.
Also, another flaw, it doesn't have Tifa from default, so
that's going to be Season Pass character, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Final Fantasy 15 is pretty alright.
Stay tuned for episode 2 of this podcast in 2020.
Another 5 hours.
God. We will have full opinions on all the new DLC, the Royal Edition, any new updates to the single player campaign. We will have completed the mobile version, all of us.
And taken on the gargantuan task of 100%ing episode Dave.
Yeah, right? I guess if there's any other new shit too, we'll fucking do that as well. Maybe there'll be a book. Who gives a shit?
Final Fantasy 15 Switch.
We'll read it. It's going to be the mobile version.
PlayerUnknown's Final Fantasy 15.
We got to see the play in Japan.
We have to play Tekken 7.
We have to wait for the next Nier game to have another crossover event.
Final Fantasy 15 2.
Final Fantasy 15 0. Kingdom Hearts 3.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Because you'll be able to go to Insomnia.
Wait for a scandal where I'm in my Noctis costume and then sucking someone's dick and I say something racist.
Boruto Shippuden.
It's going to have a costume. Every new Square Enix gacha game for the next 2 years.
And then the finale of the Final Fantasy 15 universe, My Wedding.
Gladio's Big Adventure. A pocket tale. What's in Gladio's pocket? You find out.
Liam, where can we find you?
It's noodles.
You can find me at RSS Liam on Twitter or at Rising Superstream on YouTube and Twitch.
Austin, where can we find you?
You can find me as Austin Eruption on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Vero, Facebook, Zanga. You know the drill.
MySpace?
Yeah, no, fuck MySpace.
I went back to my MySpace for the first time in like 5 years, and it's the most cringeworthy thing.
You can't even be a person on MySpace anymore. You can only be a band.
Oh, yeah?
That's true.
That's weird.
I know.
Thanks for inviting us onto this podcast.
Yeah, Thomas. Man. It was fun.
No, I'm not looking forward to editing this.
to any listeners still with us, sorry if we started losing energy around the 2 hour point.
No, we held on for 3.5 hours really strong.
There was a second wind at some point, but there was a bit where we were all just sitting quietly and nobody was talking. Nobody was reading the next thing on the paper. But we did it. Pat yourself on the back. Go cook your husband a good dinner and have
everyone
a good night's sleep.
Except for me has reached a good end. Click.
Glick.
Where the hell's the suit store? We've been walking for 45 minutes.
Brick, I thought you said this was a shortcut.
Fantastic.
Well, is it a shortcut or not?
Okay.
Jeez.
Hey!
Uh-oh. Here comes trouble.
Boy, that escalated quickly.